Hasn't done much until the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, he's been like Michael Jordan. And Derek Mason, who played with him for 8 years in Tennessee, said Steve has been in this situation so many times, down 3 points, down 6 points, having to drive the length of the field. Not too many quarterbacks in the league are built for that. Steve McNair is.
As they look at John Lynch on the field.
Well, you also, I mean, remember the Super Bowl against the Rams. Tennessee almost won it for him at the end. Derek Mason reaches over, can't quite get it in. Steve McNair, when you watch him practice, when you talk to him, when you watch him in a game, he's unflappable. He's very calm, and that transcends to the entire football team.
The word that everybody uses about him is calm, his sense of calm, which is transmitted, and everybody feels like they can be calm as well.
Everybody else is flying around. The defense is flying around. He stays in a pocket as long as he has to, waiting things out.
Looking at John Lynch here, very slow to get up. He came in there at full speed and jogs off the field. Do a big hand. Let's watch the play again.
He does not want to miss the end of this one.
He got rolled over by Kedrick Vincent. Helmet and helmet colliding there at the back end of that play. And John grabbed to his head right away. So he comes to the sideline, and as you've heard and seen, he's been in on so many plays for the Broncos here tonight. Musa Smith with the carry to the 41-yard line.
Mike, I want to clean up the Super Bowl. It wasn't Derek Mason. It was Kevin Dyson that almost got the ball in the end zone against the Rams.
And Mike Jones of the Rams made the tackle at the 1-yard line, allowing Dick Vermeil in St. Louis to win the Super Bowl.
Very few passes have been attempted down the field, and that's simply because the quarterbacks just don't have enough time to be able to give guys to get into routes.
With Lynch out, Sam Brandon, 42, has played a lot tonight as the big nickel, the fifth defensive back, is in. McNair, second thought on the throw, and it's incomplete, broken up by Champ Bailey. Intended for Mason, who wanted a flag.
Champ Bailey never takes his eyes off of Steve McNair. He's looking, stays with him. Just so quick, he's beyond good. He's great. He really is.
Remember what Mike Shanahan told us? He has such a clock in his head, an understanding of quarterback can't have much more time. That helps him play such blanket defense.
Plus, when you line up the way he does, you better have quick hips if the receiver takes off down the field.
Need to get to the 48. McNair has time, but no open receivers. Now throws. It is intercepted by Darren Williams. Bailey makes the play on the last one. The other corner, Darren Williams, intercepts McNair. Bronco ball at the 45.
October 9, and on this day in 1993, top Australian jockey Ken Russell died after being critically injured in a fall at Rosehill Racecourse in Sydney. 42-year-old Russell was one of Sydney's leading jockeys and had ridden more than 100 winners. October 9 was also the day basketball superstar Charles Barkley collapsed during the Phoenix Suns team training camp when his legs went numb. Barkley fell to the floor during sprint training and stayed there for 30 minutes before teammates helped him to the locker room. Also on this day, Australia's Michael Klim broke the 100 metres butterfly world record, coming home in a time of 52.15 seconds. And Swedish golfer Annika Sorenstam, who in 2003 became the first woman in 58 years to compete in a PGA Tour event, celebrates her birthday on this day, October 9.
Morning, LT.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. None of these are mine.
The road to the World Series is full of obstacles, but no one said it would be easy. Now, two teams face each other for a ticket to the Fall Classic, the American League Championship Series, Tuesday night, live on ESPN.
We've already had a low-scoring, single-digit total Monday night game. Jacksonville-Pittsburgh. We have 9 total points here tonight. Tatum Bell is the back. Plummer throwing with a 3-point lead. Hauled in by Javon Walker, who breaks out of the would-be Ed Reed tackle to go to the 28-yard line.
That's Mike Shanahan. And that's Jake Plummer delivering at the end of a ball game. Mike Shanahan, you don't want to call him a riverboat gambler, but he is not going to back off and back this offense down. He's going to keep on coming at you. Put a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage to stop the run. Fine. We'll just throw the football.
Plummer's so much better in the second half than in the first half. So much better.
It's like in the season. Remember, he said he just wants to get people mad at him. Well, when he throws those interceptions.
He has certainly succeeded here.
And then
not tonight, maybe.
Then he digs himself out of a hole.
Gain was 27. Quick hit. That's Sapp. A couple of yards. Cecil pushing forward to the 25. Hey, Joe, can you go back to the interception? What happened there?
I certainly can, Michael. I'm going to circle Mark Clayton for you. He's in the slot. That Mark Clayton, that's Williams right there. What you're going to see, Clayton goes down and runs a corner route, but Darren Williams does not jump up on Todd Heap. He hangs back. He baits McNair, and Steve just makes a bad decision. That's a bad throw, period. That's got no chance of getting home.
Remember, a minute ago in the first half, McNair had the ball down deep in Denver's territory. Then the Champ Bailey interception. Since then, McNair's thrown for only 38 yards, and Denver's controlled the clock a lot better here tonight. To the air again from the 25. Plummer, Walker, Javon Walker. Denver first down. Broncos in the red zone. We're coming up on 5 minutes left in the game.
Had a chance to spend some time with Javon Walker in the locker room on Saturday, and he said after his surgery last year, the doctors told him that his knee would come back stronger than it had been. That all of a sudden just said, listen, for me, getting ready is just going to be a tune-up. There's one guy in Green Bay, Wisconsin that really, really misses Javon Walker, and that's Brett Favre. He gives him a big target, and he gives him a guy who can make tough catches and blocks well.
1st and 10. Kyle Johnson, fullback, just a couple of yards. Hello, Tinata, in there on the tackle. Michelle, update on John Lynch.
Yes, things are going well for Denver, not so well for John Lynch. He is questionable to return because he has a pinched nerve in his neck. As you take a look at what happened, guys, when he came to the bench and sat down, the athletic trainers came over immediately, and the first area of his neck they looked at was the area that has a scar on it. Let's remember, John Lynch's career was almost ended in Tampa Bay by a neck injury. They were touching and pressing right around that scar to see what was going on. Anyway, the final result is pinched nerve, questionable return.
Bucks released him after that surgery, Michelle, in 2003. 2nd down, and Javon Walker has it on the reverse. Plummer, a little bit of a block. Walker tried to get back to the line of scrimmage. We have John Lynch wired, obviously, tonight. Let's listen to him over on the bench.
I made the tackle, and then a lineman came and just hit me.
Where do you hurt?
I got a stinger down my left in my thumb.
Just the left side, or go down the right side at all?
No, not the right. Okay, now.
Are you sore back in there at all?
No, I'm okay.
I'm okay. Let me go back in.
Vintage John Lynch.
Clock running down to 3:20.
3rd down here in field goal range. They will run it with Tatum Bell carrying for the first down to the 5-yard line. Now, there was a knock on Tatum Bell. Mike Shanahan even said almost a prima donna in his first year or two. I needed to see that he could get the hard, tough yards. 3rd and 9 between the tackles. Ravens defense, hard yards, huge first down.
Tatum Bell, when he appeared to lose the job, at least in preseason, to Mike Bell. Tatum Bell asked about this the other day, said, it got to me, it lit a fire under me, it worked. He wanted to show Shanahan that he was the back, indeed, that Shanahan wanted. And he won the job back, and look what he's done.
What's going to happen is the Broncos are going to take a timeout just before the 25 or 40-second clock expires to be able to continue to run the clock down and force Baltimore to use their timeouts.
Baltimore has 2 remaining here, and you obviously have the 2-minute warning, so they'll be able to quicken this entire series if they can keep them out of the end zone. You're seeing great defense here tonight from 2 teams. The Chicago Bears have been fabulous, opening up undefeated. Bears in Arizona to take on the Cardinals, and Matt Leinart and Edgerrin James and that awesome new stadium that they have out in Glendale, 8:30 Eastern next week on Monday Night Football. 5-0, 36 points allowed. Yesterday, Buffalo got the wrath of the 06 Bears.
But the biggest difference is Rex Grossman. Bernard Berrien and Rex Grossman have lit it up. He just puts the ball in the air, and of course, you know, it's Chicago Bears defense. They're active just like the 2 we see tonight, and you can't throw the ball blindly because everybody can catch.
All they needed last year was an offense. They had this same defense in place. This year, they have that offense.
They have a throwing offense.
Yep.
Yep. That's why I don't think anybody beats them. Ever? Ever. I think they can go right on through.
We're going to hold you to this if you've got them 16-0.
They'll be happy to see
Actually,
you
it'll be
next
19.
week.
That's
20.
nuts.
First and goal out of the timeout from the 5. Tatum Bell, about a half-yard there. Let's see if Baltimore will, as the pile continues here.
Was there a fumble? Ray Lewis has the ball.
We heard the whistles early on. It's second down, the 2-minute warning. Baltimore let the clock come down all the way to 2 minutes here instead of taking that timeout after the first down play. Second down when we come back.
I think every player has to find the things that help their game. I don't eat red meat, for example, while I play.
I have one motto: don't do anything stupid.
I'm a Buddhist, so I meditate. Lately, I've been wearing my brother's clothes.
The other thing that I like to do is unpack my bag. Anytime I don't unpack my bag the night before a tournament, I'm always out the next day. I'm gone. It's a long walk.
One ritual I've done at the World Series only is I've never shaved.
Over the years, I've always done, like, crossword puzzles and stuff.
No drinking or partying the night before.
Sorry.
I used to have a regiment. Now I just get up, take my medication, and pray to God I play good that day.
No! Why do I get deserve this?
The Euro 2008 qualifiers on ESPN. The road to Austria and Switzerland continues, and only a few will conquer a spot in the most important event in European football. On Wednesday, seeking to stay at the top of Group D, the Czech Republic clash against the Republic of Ireland. On Thursday, great action from Amsterdam. The Netherlands will try to get all 3 points against Albania. Wednesday, Czech Republic, Ireland, and Thursday, Netherlands, Albania. Live only on ESPN.
Brian Billick on the left, looking to join Chicago and Indianapolis with his team as an undefeated team here at the end of Week 5, but they are backed up against it as Mike Shanahan's team, off the win at New England, tries to win a second home game of the year without benefit of a touchdown. It's 6-3 at the 2-minute warning. Billick has told the officials he'll use his last 2 timeouts, but Denver might score and make that a moot point. They'll throw here for Rod Smith. Caught it! Touchdown, Broncos! Jason Elam. 13-3 Denver. A 4-yard touchdown pass to Rod Smith.
Want you to look at and remember how Champ Bailey played the corner looking at the quarterback. Chris McAllister is focused totally on Rod Smith. Never sees the ball get thrown in the air. Rod Smith just fades away from him. You have to keep an eye on the quarterback. You have to know what's going on with the football. He totally has no idea when the ball is thrown.
And a good pass by the much maligned Jake Plummer, much maligned by me.
You.
Yes,
by you.
Absolutely. This is another game. It's not going to be decided by 3 points or fewer at this point, but this is another game where Plummer, in a very close game, saved his best for the end and played very well.
And how about the confidence that Mike Shanahan shows in him by putting the ball in the air? Look at his numbers in the first half. Look at his numbers in the second half.
He'll always be compared in this stadium to John Elway, but at least he's going to go home tonight and think, I did my job. They're not going to hate me until next week. They've got this week to love me at least.
He doesn't care.
All second half. Quick throws, rolling out in the pocket, found a comfort zone for Jake. And what a comfort zone when you throw to Rod Smith, who is as good as any wide receiver who was never drafted in the NFL, and adds to that with his 66th career touchdown. Ernst to the kick. Remember, a very good kick returner in B.J. Sams. And he's taken down shy of the 30-yard line by Keith Burns. Michelle Tafoya.
Mike Tirico. Rod Smith owns every major receiving record for the Broncos, but he wants to be judged by his wins and losses. And take a look at that. His win percentage, higher even than Jerry Rice's. He told me earlier, judge me by my wins and losses just like you judge quarterbacks. And in fact, that's a pretty remarkable record. He grants you that Rice has played about double the amount of games he has played, but not bad. And by the way, Mike, that touchdown ball that he caught, look at that. He rarely keeps them. He signs them, donates them to auctions, or gives them away just like that.
Neat deal. McNair's got to make something happen quick here. Michelle is Clayton. Gain of 8. Second down. Was he touched? Was he touched? Now we're hearing whistles. Very interesting play there. And Brian Billick wants to know what's going to happen with the clock here.
They're going to have to take the clock back a good 10, 12 seconds. It's continuing to run.
The whistle came late. They're not stopping the clock. Let's check if he was touched as he came down. Yeah.
But he got up to run again. That's
well,
all.
there's no whistle blew. Clock continued to run all the way through at 1:13. It's a catch and out of bounds.
That was a loss of a good 12 seconds.
Mason at least smart enough to stop the clock there with the first down at the 42.
You knew this game was going to do two things. The defenses weren't going to give up much, and there would be 1, 2, maybe 3 plays in this game that would determine the outcome. Turnovers, bad decisions, bad throws, and that's what's hurt the Ravens.
And going up against Larry Coyer's defense. Boy, they made names for themselves in this game. Musa Smith out of the backfield to the 45, first down. Clock continuing now, stopped here by Billick as they got under a minute.
To Joe's point on that, obviously, you know, turnovers never come at opportune times. But what happened to Baltimore, their 3 mistakes came at absolutely critical times. They're driving, it's under a minute to go, the end of the first half. Instead of settling for 3, they go for the big strike to go up 10-3 at that point. They get nothing as Champ Bailey makes an interception. They have a terrible punt. When they then begin to play that game of field position, they have a terrible 10-yard punt. And Denver's able to go back down the field. They're not trapped at all. And then when McNair has to lead them down the field, McNair gets intercepted, you know, by the other corner. So the 3 mistakes they make come at worse times than the mistakes Denver makes.
Clock set back to 1 minute. Here's Susie Culver.
Well, not making excuses for Steve McNair, but think of the challenges he's up against. As his quarterback coach, Rick Neuheisel, explained, he's had 3 months to learn a new offense. He likened it from going from Germany to France. We'll see what Steve can do right here.
From the 45, 1 timeout left. This throw to Todd Heap, who pitches it back, trying to keep a hook and ladder play. Should have paid more attention to getting out of bounds was Mark Clayton, and he was ruled out of bounds with the first down. Go ahead, Susie.
Well, like I said, from Germany to France, it's like learning a brand new language. You know, once you get there, you might be able to order off the menu, but you can't have a conversation. So Steve isn't quite yet fluent in this new language. The one thing we know he can speak, though, is end-of-game heroics, but it doesn't seem to be enough time to get it done here.
They still have a chance with a timeout, a score. They need an onside kick, but need to score here in the next couple of plays. Time here, deflected in the air and intercepted to close it out. Dominique Foxworth. It was tipped by Gerard Warren. Foxworth through the would-be tackle, goes down at the 35, and Denver will hand Baltimore its first loss of the season.
Larry Coyer throwing a curve, just like we've seen Rex Ryan do, the coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. Drop one of the big linemen back where he can just get in the way. He may not catch it, but he sure can create a tip drill. Number 61, right in your picture, right in Steve's view. The ball's going right over him. He just tips it up in the air. Now he becomes a blocker. Say to yourself, he's so big, how do you not see him?
You know how Mike Shanahan said the other day, this is not the team, the Baltimore Ravens, you'd want to meet without a week to prepare. Coming out of the bye week, Denver will win this game. Now Denver has a record coming out of bye weeks of 14-4. That's the best in the NFL.
Well, you see the interceptions there tonight, 3. They came pretty close to, after John Lynch said, guys, they got the 2 turnovers. We need to come up with our own. And he does. Steve McNair was intercepted on 3 of his final 17 passes. And in his 200th NFL game as a head coach, Mike Shanahan will get his 125th win. He and Brian Billick, 2 Super Bowl champion coaches, shake hands there. Well, 200 games, 125 more wins. Shula, Hallis, Lambeau, Bud Grant, and Joe Gibbs. And now Mike Shanahan will join Chuck Knox and Marty Schottenheimer. 125 wins in the first 200 games as a head coach.
I don't think it's coincidental. Marty Schottenheimer's San Diego Chargers and these Denver Broncos are pretty good.
And we'll go down to Michelle Tafoya with Jake Plummer.
All right, thanks very much, Mike. Jake, what was going through your mind as you threw that touchdown pass to Rod Smith?
Just wanted to give him a chance. You know, I missed a couple opportunities early, and we had a chance down there. I just wanted to give him a chance because the ball's in the air. I know Rod's going to come down with it, and he did. So, big play at a big time.
It was a big play. In fact, it almost looked like he didn't see the throw. What did you think when he caught it, how he caught it?
Well, he was down and caught it, and then I was just hoping he secured it. I couldn't really see it. It was blocked, but there were some big plays to get down there. You know, Javon made a couple big ones, a couple big runs. It's a team effort. You know, we stuck together tonight. It was ugly for a while, but in the end, we came and put together some drives when it counted.
Congratulations, Jake. The defense played well. Susie's with Champ Bailey.
Well, and Champ with an interception. What does it mean to you when you're on the field with a defense like the Ravens?
I'll tell you what, you know, we heard all the hype about it. To get out there, run the ball, make some plays. But at the same time, we got a good defense, too. I think we proved that tonight. I mean, we got a lot of things we can work on, but I tell you what, we made a start to something good. I'll tell you what, we take one game at a time. We got the Raiders next week. We plan on doing the same thing next week.
Congratulations.
Warren Roberts bolted out of the gate in 2006, winning his first 3 starts and putting an early stranglehold on the #1 spot on the money list. But 3 months later, Jay Haas turned in a hat trick of his own, winning 3 straight in the spring to close the gap between numbers 1 and 2. Now, as the leaves turn from green to gold, just 3 starts remain before the season-ending Charles Schwab Cup Championship. 3 weeks for one to settle the 2006 season score. 2 champions, 3 tournaments, $1 million in the balance.
The following is a live presentation of Orbit ESPN.
I'm not switching the quarterback. I don't think that's the answer.
This is SportsCenter.
Defense is the answer in Denver. Why bad weather and untimely turnovers decided things on Monday night in the mountains. Despite losing his third straight game, why Big Ben is closer than you think to being super once again in Pittsburgh. Plus, was this season Joe Torre's last in the Bronx? Straight ahead, a billion reasons why that might be a big fat yes. SportsCenter on television. Teamed up with Steve Levy, I am John Anderson. Thanks for having us. They're playing who's your starting quarterback in Dallas and Miami, while in Chicago they finally have one.
John, same deal apparently in Baltimore. Over the last 50 years, only 5 quarterbacks who switched teams during the offseason led their new team to a 5-0 start. Steve McNair could make it 6 in Denver, where the Broncos had won 11 straight. Monday Night Football here on ESPN. First touchdown wins. It was spitting out. Ray Lewis and Baltimore's D looking to shut down the Broncos. John Lynch and the Bronco D trying to do the same thing. Denver's first possession. Jake Plummer swings it out to Tatum Bell. Wet football, maybe. Fumble. The Ravens' Chris McAllister. Nice recovery before he goes out of bounds. Check it out again. On the replay, you'll see it's Terrell Suggs who strips the ball, and McAllister, like a receiver, got to keep both feet in bounds on the fumble recovery. That would lead to a Baltimore field goal. Next, Broncos drive. 2nd and 16 from their own 34. Jake Plummer, as if his intended receiver was Samari Roll, but he plays for the other team. Plummer, 3 of 8 passing, just 6 passing yards in the first half. Broncos turn it over on their first 2 possessions. Last minute of the half, tied at 3. Steve McNair throws it up for Clarence Moore. Champ Bailey, you might have heard, he's a cover corner. He's a shutdown corner. The guy who can pick off a pass. Champ said afterwards he was surprised McNair went after him there. Under 7 minutes left in the game, 3rd and 7, 3-point game. McNair, he's got time for lunch. Got time for dinner. Looking for Mark Clayton. He's picked off by Darrett Williams. McNair's 2nd interception thrown of the night. On the ensuing Broncos drive, it's 2nd and goal. Jake Plummer gonna float one up for Rod Smith. Tough to defend that when it's executed properly. And the Broncos a 13-3 lead. Final minute, down 10. McNair, his pass be tipped by Gerard Warren, picked by Dominic Foxworth. Pretty nice return, but that was your ball game. The Ravens, their first loss of the year, leaving only the Colts and Bears undefeated. Steve McNair doubles his interception total for the season in this game alone. He threw 3 picks. In this one, he has 6 now on the season. Jason Elam, 2 long field goals, 43 and 44 yards, not pictured here. Tatum Bell, 92 yards rushing, just 43 for Jamal Lewis. 6 tackles for Ray Lewis. Jake Plummer, 65 and 64 as a starter in the regular season. He's above 500 for the first time in his 10-year career. And the Broncos have now won 3 straight since that season-opening loss to the Rams.
As I told our team in the locker room, I was really pleased with the effort that we gave tonight. Our defense played extremely well as our special teams. And offensively, we struggled. But we managed to keep on fighting and found a way to move the ball a little bit in that 4th quarter against an excellent defense and do it when we had to do it. And that's what good football teams do.
Yeah, just disappointing that we didn't play better on special teams, offense, defense across the board. You need to play better than that if you're going to beat a team like Denver on the road.
Hey, for all the talk of the Ravens defense going in, Denver has allowed just 1 touchdown through their first 4 games. Since 1940, only one other team has done this. The 2000 Dolphins. Miami's D that year, even stingier than the Broncos this season, allowing just 22 points in their first 4 games. Back out to the Monday Night Countdown crew. Stuart Scott, take it away.
Welcome back to SportsCenter's coverage of Monday Night Football on a cold, wet, rainy night in Denver. The Mile High team gave the Baltimore Ravens its first loss of the season. What's up, Stuart Scott, Steve Young, Michael Irvin, Tom Jackson? Hey, Denver's defense has allowed just 34 total points in 4 games. They forced McNair into 3 picks in this game. TJ, what is it about this defense that impresses you the most?
I think it's their speed. Everybody gets to the ball. They're built from the front back, even though the front line is a little bit undersized. The linebackers are outstanding. DJ and Al Wilson and Ian Gull They have a shutdown corner in Champ Bailey that makes you go somewhere else with the football. Nick Ferguson and John Lynch are big hitters. And the thing I like most about them is the most fundamental thing that there is about defensive football, and that is tackling. A lot of teams could take a lesson from the Denver Broncos. They tackle well, so they don't miss a lot.
And Tom, to go along with that, I mean that interception at the end of the first half by Champ Bailey was a huge interception. It was an opportunity for Baltimore to go up 6-3, and we know what happens with Jake Plummer when he's down and playing from behind, forced to throw more, but that was huge. And I just wondered, why would the Ravens choose to pick on Champ Bailey in this situation? Poor route by Clarence Moore, poor decision to go at Champ Bailey. He's only one of the best cornerbacks in this league. Why not line up trips on Champ Bailey's side to keep him over here, line the receiver up on the other cornerback and pick on that fella? That would have been the smartest thing to do.
Hey, in the first half of this game, Jake Plummer only had 6 more yards passing than Steve Young. And, you know,
I'm gonna have to
6
warm
more
up.
than Steve.
I'll have to warm up.
Steve didn't even play. Came back in the second half with 100 yards passing. Not a great game statistically, Steve, but what did Jake do that helped this team get the win?
Well, first of all, it's a miserable day. I mean, when you run playing games like this, you're going to try to eliminate the mistakes. Run the football, make a couple of nice passes, and what was disappointing in both quarterbacks, they threw the ball for grabs early in the game and cost their teams a significant amount that Michael just said. But I'll tell you what, Jake Plummer at halftime, you saw him put the gloves on. And I think these new gloves that the quarterbacks are using are really helping in these kinds of days. And he did throw the ball better, and a nice skinny post late in the game that really won the game for them were a couple of big throws that Jake made. Look, a lot of mistakes today. I'm going to give the excuse to the weather a little bit, a little messy. Both quarterbacks did not play well. Neither can continue to play that well to be a threat in the AFC.
That ball you say he threw better, it actually got tipped up, so he didn't catch it. So if it didn't get tipped up, Javon, it probably would have hit the ground. You know what I'm saying?
It got tipped up, so it was high.
Yeah,
well,
that's the only reason it got completed.
Bro, you know what? You're just a hater. You're just a hater.
Jake Plummer threw 20 or more interceptions in 5 out of 7 seasons. That was before last season. Last season, he only threw 7 picks all last season. He's got 5 right now this season. We'll see where it goes. The Broncos, one of the really, really good teams in the AFC. There's also Cincinnati and Indianapolis and New England and San Diego. There are a lot of good teams. Only 6 are making the playoffs. What I need from you guys, your Fab 5 in the AFC right now, 1 to 5. TJ.
I'm going to start with number 5, and that's the Chargers. I'm going to go to number 4, and that's the Colts. Number 3, the New England Patriots. And then the Ravens and the Broncos at number 1. And the Ravens, undefeated going in. The Broncos beat them. They beat the Patriots. I'm very comfortable putting them up at number 1 in the AFC.
Well, I like that. But, you know, Tom, you and I see eye to eye a lot of times. But I have New England number 5. I just feel like they're going to be coming on more and more. I got Cincinnati at 4. I think they'll right the ship. The mistakes that they've made. Indianapolis, although undefeated, I've been disappointed in what Peyton Manning can only carry this team so far. And I don't think he can do it for four months. He's got to have a running game and some defense, especially rush defense. And Denver, after what I saw today, just the resiliency, tough defense. Jake's going to play better. I like number 2. And San Diego, Phillip Rivers, a young kid, but who runs the ball better? Who's playing better defense than the San Diego Chargers right now? If Marty will open it up like he did yesterday, woo, the sky's the limit. Sky's the limit.
All right, Michael, what you got?
Let me start with my number 5 team, still the Baltimore Ravens, after watching that defense play the way it played, especially in the first half. Then
so Denver's got to be number 4 then?
No, I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals right there. Cincinnati Bengals, they have the ability to score points, and they just don't know that they have to play every week, not just some weeks, but they'll learn that.
Denver's got to be 3.
I'm going with the Patriots at number 3 because the Patriots are what they are. They are always there, as long as they got number 12 standing.
Denver's got to be 2.
The San Diego Chargers with Phillip Rivers playing the type of football he's starting to play. And my number 1 team,
got to be Denver.
It's the undefeated Indianapolis Colts.
Wait.
That's right there.
What?
My number 1
Hold on.
And those are my Fab 5.
Time out.
I can't
Wait, Michael, you have the Baltimore Ravens number 5.
Right.
And they got beat by the Denver Broncos, who aren't on your list.
Right. Well, let me tell you what. The Baltimore Ravens gave the game to the Denver Broncos tonight. Is what I saw tonight. That's what I saw. I refuse to put any team with a quarterback throwing for 6 yards in the first half in my Fab 5.
Mike, did New England give them the game in New England?
They played and beat New England.
But New England's number 3.
New England that's New England now. New England still deserves to be in the game. Let me tell you
the
something.
Broncos have allowed 1 touchdown in 4 games, and they're not on your Fab 5?
And if you score any points against the Broncos, any points, and you make Jake play you from behind, don't worry, it won't happen. They can't win that football
I guess Champ Bailey's 30th career interception don't really mean a whole lot to Michael. I'm just saying, cold, wet, rainy night in Denver, but apparently it's what the Mile High team love. Jake Plummer and his 6 yards passing in the first half, not enough to be in Michael's team, but enough to get the win.
Much more NFL Inside Sports Center, including how Terrell Owens has turned the spotlight on Drew Bledsoe as Bill Parcells considering a change at QB with the Pokes. Plus how close Ben Roethlisberger is from returning to his Super Bowl form and why Rex Grossman could be this season's Super Bowl surprise. But first, the end of an era on the brink in the Bronx. Up next, several Yankees explain why the boss should actually hang on to Joe Torre.
Italian football on ESPN.